through the fire. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me.
Welcome, we are Rim and Page. I'm so excited to see you guys once again, being able to talk to you guys and fellowship with you guys all over again and again and again. As you guys know, I am Josh Pinson, and then I have my bro that you guys met in previous videos, and if you haven't, that's a shame because you were supposed to subscribe to this channel and then you will know what his name is. And now I ain't telling you his name because you should have saw the last video. But this is my bro Jordan once again, and we're just coming to you guys with our segment of Hey Bro, Let's Talk. This is an important segment to me and an important topic because a lot of brothers don't get together and chat. They don't get together and to see, you know, what's going on in your life, what's going on in, you know, in that other person's life, and trying to grow and to hold each other accountable together. So it's very important for brothers to do that, especially in today's time, because now we just think we can do everything by ourselves and we don't need any type of help, which is our problem today. But I'm introducing you guys once again to Jordan. Jordan, you want to talk to the people?
What's up, people? Always glad to be back doing another segment like this. Always appreciate when he brings me out to these nature kind of spots and always just feel at home right here. So again, thanks for tuning in again, guys.
That's what's up. So you guys listen, we got many different topics that we're going to talk to you guys about that it's important. I think it's important to me because this is stuff that we go through every single day, like every single day that you live, how you live your life by. But one thing that I wanted to talk about is that was important to me is how do you identify yourself in God? Like as men, period. Sorry, it's just a lot of stuff out here, and so I'm a little jump. See, I don't know what that was. It's behind me. They wildin'. But we're gonna stick through this thing. Okay, so one of these topics that I wanted to talk about is how do you identify yourself in God? And I know, like I was saying, as men, we sometimes get in our pride a lot. Yo, that's a whole crane.
Yeah. Oh, the dog's up in the water. There's a lot going on.
Hey, yo, they bugging. Okay, wait. All right, y'all, listen. We gonna keep going. All right, so.
Oh man.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about again is how do you identify yourself in God? And I know this is really hard sometimes. I knew this was hard for me because as a man, we get in our pride so much that is like we can't even go to the person who created us on how to find ourselves or how to identify who we are because we have so much pride and we feel like we are in control of everything, and then becoming vulnerable is like a weakness to men, which I don't understand at all because how can a man be weak when we are created by someone who's all powerful, you know, and we are a split image of our Father. So you're not weak. That is just literally a mental thing that society has placed on us for men to walk a certain way in their eyes, you know, which is extremely unhealthy. But I want to get your thoughts on how do you identify yourself? What steps did you take to identify yourself as saying, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be, and this is who I'm going to walk into? How did you identify those things, and what was the process of that?
It was a long process, I feel. Long process because I was always kind of like the one who, just like a people pleaser growing up in high school, like trying to just have people like me, regardless of like actually knowing who I was or things like that. And honestly, I didn't even know who I was necessarily until I found my walk with Christ and understanding that I'm more of Him than I am myself and everything. And once you actually do die to yourself, you find more of who you are, which is kind of funny in its own way. But one thing that definitely stuck out to me, if you don't see my t-shirt right now, it actually does say made in His image. And that really resonated so much into just who I am and everything. Because if you can fathom that a God who created everything, including all these plants and animals, everything, you and I, but He actually created us in His image, and that is just such an amazing thing to bounce back on. So it just brings a lot of hope, a lot of joy, and just reassurance. And like, it doesn't matter what people think or what you are doing or things like that. As long as you're like doing things right in the eyes of God, you can always find your identity with Him, and just understand that it's just an amazing feeling when you resemble Christ and resemble God, the Creator. It's amazing.
Word. You know, my problem was this. I didn't like who I identified as God. Like, I lived a certain way. Like, before, let's get this straight. I was always a church kid. My family was invested in church. And so I knew I was connected to him. I knew that there was a calling on my life. But I just didn't like who I found in God. I didn't like that person because it wasn't who I desired to be. Like, I didn't want to be committed to this man, and if I wasn't committed, then I wouldn't receive all my blessings. Like, I wanted to live my life and still receive my blessings, and like, but it's like it's hypocritical, you know. It's hard to live who you want to be, and then when you truly find who you are because you have accepted the person who has created you over your life, and in his eyes, it's like, I didn't create you to be that. That's not who you supposed to be. That is your own desire. I didn't like that. I didn't like that I couldn't be who I wanted to be because I wanted to be me, but that wasn't me because it wasn't in him. So we have to understand our spiritual identity in God, because sometimes what would happen is we would take what we like and our traits that we like and our characteristics that we like, and we would say, this is who I am. And that's not who you are. Those are parts of you that makes you you, but that is not who you are. Like, for instance, I feel like I am. People say I'm not, but I think I'm a bubbly person.
Yeah.
I think I'm a very bubbly person. I like to laugh a lot. I like to, but those things that I had to realize that those are characteristics of me. Those are traits of me. That's not saying I'm not a happy person, but when you find your identity as in, like, what is my goal in life? What is my plan? What is the plan that he has for me? What do my future look like? And those are the things that will lead you to who you are. But you lead yourself in the direction of God so that he can show you what you're supposed to be doing to achieve those goals and to achieve that plan. And I didn't like the fact that I was this guy who was after God's heart, but I had to let go so many things that connected to me in order to achieve my goals and the plans that he had. I didn't like that I had to lose some friendships. I didn't like that I had to even lose connection with certain family members just to achieve this desirable person that God wanted me to be. But it's not who he just wanted me to be, but it was who I was. And I couldn't be myself because there were so many connectors that was connected to me that wasn't supposed to be connected. Like, I don't know if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know how to start a car. I don't know how to jump a car at all. But I do know I don't know if I'm right, there's some blue wires and some red wires, correct? I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Blue, it's not blue.
Oh, what color is that? Give me the right color.
Black and red.
Black and red. See? You see, I had blue connectors attached to me, but it couldn't jumpstart my car because those wasn't the cords that was connected to my life. And so what happens is we would jumpstart our life with the wrong cords. And instead of using the black and red cords like God said, like, here is the manual. He will give you the manual, the Bible. He will give you instructions, and we still go in our closet and pull out them blue cords and connect it to it. Like, yo, you're not going to start. You're not going to start. So you have to make sure what is connected to your life. And those things, and I've lost so many friends. Literally, in this year, I lost 8 friends in like 2 months. And those are people who I really thought, like, okay, no, they're assigned to my destiny. And it's like, God is like, no, those are blue cords. And so you got to find the blue cords that's in your life, because you only should have black and red. And that is the manual that God has given us. But we have to get out of ourselves and literally live into our true identity. Yeah. Right? So that's just I can go on and on with this topic, because, like, y'all, I've really been in a season of growth, and I've been in a season of flourishing. And so much has been exposed to me in this season, and I'm just like, yo, that is crazy that this was happening. But because I was so in denial of my identity, I couldn't even see that, because I didn't want to accept it, you know. So take away the blue cords in your life, and I bet you'll be able to identify who you are in God. But you got to remove those connections. You got to, and like Jordan said, you become your true self when you become true to God. You just, I don't know. It's just like, God is the answer to it all. And people be like, how can one answer be the answer to it all?
Like,
it's because he created it all. Like, he is the answer. So
why wouldn't he have those answers?
Right. So that topic is really, really weighty. So all the stuff that we gave you in just that topic itself, how do you identify yourself? Go back and watch what we just said, okay? So I know you had some topics that you wanted to speak on. So what are some of yours that you want to speak on?
One of the ones I wanted to think of, kind of like the first thing that came to mind, was just speaking life to situations. Just whatever you're going through, just not letting that negative kind of thoughts or connotations kind of come into fact or play into those kind of situations, because when you are speaking something, you actually are speaking so much power into these situations, and you're either speaking life or speaking death. And one thing that really, really resonated in me recently was because my grandfather, he actually just recently went through some surgery. He had an aneurysm in his aortic arch, and so like when things get worse, like you're usually a centimeter, like the artery or whatever is like usually like 3 centimeters. They get worried at 5. We found out his were 10 centimeters. So, and he is 91 years old. But we just didn't believe that report. We didn't believe that as that's going to be his fate, even though the doctors even called us that night. Everything went happening. Everything was going on. We were literally across the street just waiting for some calls, because obviously we can't be in because of COVID. But we were waiting across the street, and we get a call saying that the doctors are saying it's not likely for someone to even survive this. Even if you're a healthy 20-year-old person, that this could even happen. He was literally telling us this in that situation. And yeah, obviously that's a hard thing to take. That's a hard thing to hear. But even prior to that and after, we just, my brother and I especially, just kind of kept that mindset. Speak life into the situation. Speak life into the situation. Keep praying about it, and just again speak life, because once you're just speaking that negative connotation, you're speaking that negative fact, you're bringing that to life as well. You don't want to bring that to life. You want to just don't even let that exist in the situation. Just constantly speak, because when you are speaking life, you're also just giving, holding on to that faith that you're trusting in God for that situation to pass and to be used for His glory. So just never give up. Just always, again, keep that life happening. Life, speak life.
That y'all, I always say all the time, words have power. Like words have power, and when it says it in the Bible, speak it into existence. When you speak things into existence, you are speaking life into those things that are not existing at that very moment. So as he was saying, the doctor was literally saying, like, people do not survive this thing. Like, they do not survive this issue. Like, I don't know how you're going to get through this, because normally it's just a dead end. So it's very, very, it's difficult to speak life to something that permanently has an end.
Yeah.
Like, naturally, this literally has an end to it. Like, you literally don't, there's no way of winning this battle, but you're going against something that has a permanent end. That's the most probably scariest position to be in, is when you're going against something that in the natural permanently has an end, but you gotta go against that. Like, going home thinking like, I gotta speak life into something that 99 out of 100, it's permanently an end.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that's mind blowing. His grandfather is still living. Like,
Amen.
You can't tell me there isn't a God. Amen. You cannot tell me. But that's the power of life, when you speak things into existence. And I know that we go through some really dark situations in our lives, and we go through situations, like heavy situations, where we really looking like, all right, so I'm about to just do this because I don't see any good coming out of it. Yeah. But that's because your mind, mentally, naturally, we don't want to speak life into it, because we're just so upset that we're going through so much hell in our life that we don't want to speak the facts. Yeah. We don't want to give the word of God. And that, listen, I'm not even going to fake with you. That's okay, because God did it. God was literally in the wilderness, like, yo, God. Well, Jesus was in the wilderness and was like, yo, God, let me tell you something. Because this is how I took it. I don't want to do this for these people. I don't want that. Well, listen, I'm not beat for all of this. if this is what they're going to do, and I'm literally telling them I am the Messiah, and they going against what I'm saying, like how many miracles and signs and wonders do I got to get these people to let them know I am who I am? And so Jesus even had that natural mindset. But at the end of it, he said, but your will be done. So you got to get back to that mindset, like, but I know God is a way maker, and I know he's the ultimate provider. I know he can make a way out of no way. He did it before, and that's the thing. We've been through so many situations in our life, and then we get into another situation where we go back into that mental state of saying God can't do it, but you just got out of that situation that God did. I don't understand that. And y'all, I used to do that so bad. I would be like, there isn't a God, but I knew it is a God because you got me out of that situation that happened last week. But because I'm in another situation, but the reason why you in another situation, because God knew you was going to go back to this mental state of saying there isn't a God, and I ain't going to speak life into it until you get it right. Until you start realizing I'm hitting situation after situation after situation, but at the end of it, there's a God.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's hard. It is, I know it's hard. I know it is difficult. It is difficult. But you gotta get back to that state of where you say, but there is a God. Like, even though this is going on, at the end of it, there is a God, you know? And you gotta speak life into those things. And you gotta, when you believe in him, listen, and I'm talking about the God that we believe in, who gave life to a dead man. Like, literally gave life to a dead man. Gave life to a dead man. He gave eyesight to a blind man. So it's like, this is a God who works miracles. He don't just do the norm. No. He don't do the norm. He don't just...
He steps above.
I'm just saying. Like, he goes above and beyond. Like, there's been some situations in my life where I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it, but then that next day, it was like as if that situation just never happened in life. And it's like, no, what are you talking about? You're good. And it's like, but wait, no, let me tell you what just happened. Like, yesterday, I knew this was going on, but that's because there is a God. And so you got to stop thinking the norm, because we don't serve a normal God. The God that we serve, he is literally insane. Literally insane. Like,
he's
insane. Like, it's to the point where you just gotta laugh, because it's like, yo, what type of man can do this stuff? Like, he's insane. Like, so speak life into your situation. Speak life into it. It's definitely needed. And I promise you, when you speak life into your situation, you also begin to live life. And what I mean by that is because you don't speak life, and then you find your own self in a dark space. And you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with anxiety, you're dealing with all of these mental illness that God has never created. It comes from nobody but the hands of the enemy, because God didn't create you to have the mindset of that you're not going to make it, when he said you have the victory at the end of it. So that's all a mental battle in itself. But when you start to speak life, that's when you start to live life. And so it's like, even though this situation is ugly, you will see me smiling, you'll still see me living my life to the fullest. I'm still smiling. I'm still working towards my goals. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but I know God is going to make a way. I don't know how I'm going to pay for these bills, but I know God is going to make a way. I don't know what food we're going to eat tonight, but I know God is going to make a way. And so you got to speak life into your problems, because then you start to live life, and you start to live life in God. And that's the greatest life you can live, because God he brings you peace that is like, you don't even have any understanding of the peace that he's like,
of peace until you are in that peace with God.
I'm just saying, like,
that's real.
It's
real.
Speak life.
Speak life.
Speak life. Speak life. Speak life. And so we're gonna end off with this topic, but this other topic that I wanted to bring up was, where are you naturally and spiritually? So I have something coming on my birthday, August 1st. I can't tell you guys because it's a surprise. But this is one of the things that I'll be speaking on. Is where, and this is crazy. Y'all, you got to stay with me, because you will literally lose yourself in this topic of like, okay, I'm getting it, but then I don't. Because that's what happened to me when God revealed this to me. So, when I say, where are you naturally and spiritually? Think of it this way. Where are you locally? So currently, we live in Tucson, Arizona, right?
Yep.
We live our life in Tucson, Arizona. This is where we are. Naturally, that's where we are. But spiritually, where are you? And what I mean by that, I was literally in my room having a worship session, and God was telling me, you're not able to succeed because where you are naturally is not matching up to where you are naturally. And people will be like, oh yeah, I understand that. Like, you know, your walk with God is not, you know, up there where it needs to be. But there's so many more elements to that point. And what I mean by elements was I had to go back, literally go back to where I lived. And I found myself there because of the hurt that happened to me. So I naturally lived in Tucson, Arizona, but my spirit, man, was so broken that it was still in New Jersey, where I'm from, because so many hurtful things has happened to where I really did not forgive people that has hurted me in it. So God is like, yeah, you walking forth saying, you know, you this holier than thou type of man, but you're hurt. Where you are spiritually, you're located somewhere else where you are naturally. So your spirit man and your natural man is walking like this. Like they're not left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's like I'm dragging it to trying to come to where I am, but you can't because there's so much hurt and baggage of where you were. So I had to go back to that age of when I was 13, 14 years old and was like, yo, I literally left my spirit, man, broken. Yeah, because I did not forgive. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't want to forgive. I really, y'all, if I'm being honest to this day, if I wasn't a Christian, I'll probably still hold that grudge towards that person because of the trauma that has happened. It's overbearing. Like, it's like, yo, that is how? Like, how did you do that? So I learned that I wasn't equal within my spirit man and my natural man because I allowed my spirit man to remain broken in a state that happened years ago. And y'all, we live our lives like this, and we fake the funk and we put on a facade saying that we are good, not knowing that you got to go back some years. Y'all, I literally had to go back to 13 or 14 years, and I had to ask for forgiveness. And it was asking for forgiveness not for that person, but for me to move on with my life. Yeah. So, because literally there was doors that was literally God wanted me to walk into, but I couldn't step into it because that element of forgiveness was not placed there. And I allowed my natural man to live here, to work for the Lord, trying to be for the Lord, but my spirit man, who is supposed to be attached to him, was broken somewhere else because of situations and traumas that has happened to when I was a kid. You understand that?
Yeah, no, I get you.
It's very weird, but it's weighty at the same. You gotta think it.
You gotta think about it a little deeper than just
because because when I was even thinking it in my worship time, I'm like, but yo, that how? Like, it's just like you would think if I'm here, my spirit is here as well. Mm-hmm. But there's so many elements to the God that we serve, to where it's like, yo, that is really a door that I did not know that was broken. Like that was an element of my life that was broken, that was not allowing me to succeed because I didn't want to forgive. That's something that happened 13, 14 years of age, but I couldn't succeed because I had to go back to get my spirit man together because he was broken by these past traumas. Mm-hmm. So where are you located naturally and spiritually? Do you feel like you're located like in the same place? Like, can you honestly say like, and y'all, for the people that's watching, I don't want you to be like, oh yeah, I'm located in different places just because I asked the question. But literally evaluate your life and say, but am I equally placed in the same place? Or am I a little split up? Am I split up? You know?
Yeah.
So
and honestly, I would say, like, being truthful and to myself as well, I'm definitely in the process of not being split up because I've found I think I might be just like on the opposite kind of spectrum as Josh right here. His spiritual is kind of left behind in a spot, but I was doing things, I guess it's kind of the same. Well, I was doing things, or I have been doing things in the natural that have like been keeping my spiritual self just kind of like contained and locked up. Like, yeah. I know the potential that I have, and I know like I am constantly growing spiritually and constantly working towards my spirituality and becoming whole in Christ, and that is never going to be accomplished until we are actually face to face with Christ. So it's always going to be a thing. So I'm aware of that, but where I want to be spiritually is not anywhere that I need it to be. And I know that naturally, I know that spiritually, that I wasn't in the same spot, and I know that I can always do growth. So I really had to sit back and just kind of do things that I was doing different. Like, because obviously we're in this weird time where if we don't have a routine, it can just go. Time can just fly right now.
For sure.
And so I had to kind of like break myself down and just stick to a routine and get back into more of a routine where I am digging deeper, where I am studying differently, because there's things that you can just read the Bible and you just feel like, you just kind of feel like you're going through the motions of things, and that's kind of how I felt. Like, I was just kind of going through the motions, and that's never where I want to be. And I know that naturally, and that's what sucks. But I know the spiritual wants to just be right up there and even in front of my natural body and everything like that. But just constantly, I legit had to just kind of break my norm, break the routine that I was in, the unhealthy routine that I was in, and just give it to God and come to God and just literally just kind of even forgive myself and ask for forgiveness as well, and just get back to where I need to be. Because man, there's I'm going through some stuff. I know we all go through some stuff, but I'm just glad to just now kind of be like on the other end of it. And again, nowhere near perfect or whole, but I'm glad to be on another end where I'm just learning again and digging deeper into where I need to be with my spirituality, spiritual man.
For sure. That topic is so like you really have to take time to yourself.
Yeah.
You really have to take time to yourself, because we don't want to admit it. You know, it's hard to admit it. And when I mean hard, like y'all, it was hard for me to go back and say, I really gotta forgive this person in order to get here. And what I mean here, that's not me saying I made it, like I'm at the top of the list. No, but I'm now allowed to function in a different way because I have forgave this person. Forgiveness in my life was like one of those, the main key. You know when you got your backup key when you lose your key to your house? Like this one was the main one. Like this was the first one you got. Like the first one. I didn't go out to the store to make a backup one. This was the first one that I got. So this is the forgiveness in my life was a very main key because I held a lot of grudges towards people. And the reason why I said my spiritual was left behind is because there was a lot of things that had happened to my spirit within churches in the past at a young age, and there was also forgiveness with individuals that has happened as well at a young age. And I was not in a place of wanting to forgive. I didn't want to forgive. I didn't want to forgive none of them. But that's why my spirit man was broken. And naturally, we're all able to function in our natural because it's our own desire. It's our own flesh. We can do whatever we want to do.
That's easy.
It's easy to function in your natural, but it's the most difficult thing to function in your spiritual because you literally got to do the opposite of what you do in your natural. So my spirit man was left behind and very, very broken. And it wasn't given the attention that it was supposed to be given. And we feed our natural more than we feed our spiritual. But like I said in the beginning, that's why I didn't like the person I identified as in God. So I didn't want to go back to fix my spirit man because I really didn't like who I was in God because there was something that wasn't matching up to who I was naturally. So it's important to make sure that you're located in the same state, because if you're located in two different states, literally, what good is that for you?
Yeah.
Like
your house divided.
Okay. Literally, your house is divided. And then people that you live with is so confused about you because they're like, yo, his mood swings is crazy. You know, we like, you know, so you start finding yourself having to talk to more people or people not wanting to be around you because like you said, that is perfect because your home is divided. Mm-hmm. And home as in your heart, your spirit, your mental, your thinking, the way that your decision making, like all of those things are equaled up into your own home, which is yourself. So if I'm giving you someone naturally that's here, but my spirit man is not giving me that other advice, like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm just responding off my natural, get it together. You don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be stuck there. It's a really, really unhealthy place. But all of these topics I think are very weighty in a lot of ways. Yeah. And every time we do a video, we always reach the 30-minute mark. We always, because y'all, I promise y'all, we just flowing. It's just, it's experience based. And that's one thing that I love about healthy relationships is when both have two different experiences, but you both can learn from those experiences, even though your experiences are different, but the knowledge is coming from the same person. You see, but if we was two people talking and our knowledge wasn't coming from God, we'll be staring at each other the wrong way. Like, no, what I think you should do is go back and bust them in their head. Just giving each other negative, advice.
Leading us in the wrong direction.
Listen, that's why I said the blind can't lead the blind. You can't lead me if you blind too. Yeah. So it's this segment, Hey Bro, Let's Talk, is very, 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 very dope and really important, because there's not a lot of men that sit down and are honest with themselves, like, yo, literally, I ain't in a good space, or literally, I know there's some things I need to work on, and that doesn't mean, you guys, that you can't be active in God. That does not mean you cannot fulfill in your gift. That does not mean you can't serve in the kingdom just because you got some broken screws in your life. That does not mean that. I don't know whoever told you that, but that ain't healthy, because that does not mean that, So, live life. Speak life. Where are you located spiritually and naturally? Where are you located spiritually and naturally? Speak life. And who do you identify yourself as in God? What is your identity in God? Those are some important questions. So I want y'all to write those down. Evaluate yourself. And I want y'all to see the difference. When you start identifying those things and those loose screws and those missing tools, I want you to start responding in a different manner. Take this video, literally, watch it, and actually ask yourself those questions, You got anything else to say to the people?
These are just weighted topics. Weighted topics, and none of it can be described in the time frame that we do have right now. And we could have gone in every single topic 30 minutes in each, and still would have been just continually to talk about them and everything. There would have had no time frame. So again, like you said, take these to heart, really write them down. I know I'm going to do the same thing again, because we discuss these topics, but I want to do the same thing as well, because I know there's other areas that I want to dive into as we've been talking. But write these down, think about these, dwell on these, use this actually as like a Bible study to, again, find out who you are in Christ. You'll find your true identity and what your true purpose is. So
But that's it, you guys, and we are welcome. We are Real Men Page. I'm so excited to see you guys and to be able to talk to you guys once again. Chill.